This is J Runer, and today I'm going to be bringing you the showcase of the Holden GTS, the pros, the cons, and the class viability. At the first look of the Holden GTS, what concerned me was the weight, as this will affect handling and braking in higher classes. For the most part, it has plenty of power and acceleration in the lower class. At first, when I started tuning for the C class, I made sure I had all the suspension and I was only able to put a little bit of power into it. And I did not have a lot of faith in the GTS in the C class until I started racing it. The launch of this car is quite amazing. Turn off the traction control because you do not need it in the C class. You can hold down the throttle and burn straight through first gear into second with full grip and full acceleration, and you'll definitely get an advantage on any opponents off the line. I was thinking because of the handling of the car it wouldn't be that well in this class, but I soon found out that this car just outpowers almost everything that you race up against except for the speed builds. The speed builds are the only thing that could really hold this car in a straight line, but for the most part you have enough acceleration and enough top end to hold off even the strongest Hondas. In my experience in the C class, I only legitimately lost 2 races, and it was to pure handling builds on a handling track. Even though they out-handled me in the corners, I caught up to them in the straightaways, and I was only a half a second to a second behind them, even though they were in the leaderboard car. So I'd have to rate this car in the C class at a good high tier. Not a leaderboard car, but solid in the right hands. Moving on to the B class, where now we can build 3 types of builds: a speed, a balance, and a handling build. Each one of these builds I would place in the high category. You'll be a force to be reckoned with in any straightaway as you retain the power from C class and continue to build on it. With the improved handling, you'll be a force to be reckoned with as you launch out of the corners with more acceleration. I would place this car at a very high tier, as you'll keep up with even the fastest drivers in your hopper. Moving on to the A class, where it looks like this car shines the best. With much emphasis on handling in this class, this car has plenty of it, plenty of acceleration, and plenty of power. You'll be using mainly the handling and the speed build in this class, as the balance build doesn't do as well because of its lack of handling. You will need traction control to handle the 994 horsepower speed build that this car has to offer. You'll be a force to reckon with this build. And this brings us to S class, where you'll need traction control for the handling build and the speed build. There can be no balance for the S class because there's not enough handling to go around. But you will struggle against the exotic cars as you will not have the handling or the braking to keep up with them. But you'll always have the acceleration and the speed to catch up in the straights. You have to optimize every corner, and the car is very rewarding to master of drivers. This is not a class that a novice needs to be driving this car in, because it will be a challenge. You'll be bumped a lot in corners as you'll be playing defensive for the most part. I would put this car at a mid-tier to a low in the handling build of this car. But the speed build is where this car shines the most. If you want a good, solid, high-tier speed car, this is a good build for the S class. This is a very fun car to drive, and you tend to forget how heavy it actually is because how much power is in it. The only time you notice this is when you try to stop the car. The car may have plenty of power, but it does not have the braking to stop it. Overall, the Holden GTS is a high-tier car. I hope you enjoyed this showcase of the Holden GTS. This has been J Runer. Like, subscribe, leave your car suggestions below, and I may showcase them next. And thanks for watching.